Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zainazra binti ZALANI. My metric number is A21A3204. And my partner Nur ATIQAH binti ZAMRI with metric number A21A2813. The purpose of this video is talk about a book review assignment. For the first one, I will show you about introduction. The title of the book that we choose is The School of Good and Evil. The name of author is Soman Chainani and the type of fiction chosen fantasy. In this book have 532 pages and the years of publication at 2013. We choose this book because the title of the book very amazing and the cover of the book very interesting. For the next slide, I will show you about the setting on this book. 200 years ago, the first kidnapping took place. 2 males were taken some years and 2 girls were taken others years, and sometimes one of each was taken. However, while the choice appeared to be random at first, the pattern eventually became apparent. One was always lovely and good, the child that every parent wished for. The other was plain and stranger, a lifelong outsider. Sophie and Agatha, best friends, are about to learn where all the missing children go, the famous school for good and evil, where regular boys and girls are groomed to be fairy tale heroes and villains. Sophie had fantasized of being kidnapped into an extended land her entire life as Gabaldon's most beautiful girl. She knows that with her pink clothes, glass slippers, and dedication to good action, she will excel at the school for good and graduate as a fairy tale princess. Meanwhile, Agatha appears to be natural fit for the school for evil, with her shapeless black frogs, evil pet cat, and disdain of practically everyone. When the 2 girls are swept into the endless woods, their fortunes are reversed. Sophie is thrown into the school for evil, where she will study uglification, disgust, and henchman training, while Agatha is thrown into the school for good, where she will study princess ATIQAH and animal communication. But what if the blunder is the first step in figuring out who Sophie and Agatha are? Who are the main characters in this book? The first one is Agatha. Agatha is described to have drum-like, greasy and oily black hair that is a bit shorter than shoulder length. It was also described as helmet hair. You can see Agatha's hair. Her skin is pale, as it is called ghostly in the books, and she has big bulb like hazel eyes. For the second character is Sophie. Sophie is complicated character. She is very vain and selfish, but is also intelligent and creative. When she is first introduced at the beginning of the first book, she, despite thinking herself quiet, generous and kind, was shown to be selfish and care too much about her appearance almost more than anything else. You can see the 2 main characters in the story is Agatha and Sophie, who think they are best friends. At the beginning of the story, Sophie claims to be protagonist, but throughout the story, situations prove that she's the antagonist. Thank you.
The theme of this story is about fantasy and fairy tale because there are 2 schools which are school for goods and school for evils. In this school, students will learn how to get good skill and evil skill depending which school they will go. And then, students who graduate from this school will become heroes or villains in their own story. Now, I will explain about how the main character personality has changed because of their experience in this story. At first, Sophie thinks she is very generous and caring. However, it's known that she is very vain and selfish, caring more about her looks and appearance above everything. When she dropped into the school for evil, she was very confused, angry and constantly out because for her, she's supposed to go to the school of good. One day, hoodwinking good's greatest prince wins Sophie popularity at the school of evil, and the title of the number one villains. Day by day, Sophie begins to show her resentment and anger toward Agatha, as she now believes Agatha ruined her chance for her happy ever after as Agatha stole her place. Meanwhile, Agatha seems unlikable, ugly, disliking almost everyone she meets, and seeing herself as isolated and lonely. One day, Agatha finds her own inner beauty and belief in good and true love after consultation with the Dean of Good, Professor Clarissa Dove. At the end of the story, Storian was about to spare Agatha's hurts, and then Sophie did something that shocked the schoolmaster and the whole school. She stepped out in front of her best friend and sacrificed her own life for Agatha. Okay, for the conclusion, I really recommend to other people to read this book, especially who are really enjoy fantasy genre. This book also have interesting adventure scene, and it's really easy to understand the plot of this story. Other than that, I also recommend to read other 5 series of this story to get know more about Sophie and Agatha adventure. After I read this book, I learned something that happiness is not always what you expect it to be, and the most important thing is what people want you to do is not always gonna make you happy. So that you just need to be yourself and find your own happiness to make yourself happy. Other than that, I also learned that sometimes appearance doesn't determine whether that person is evil or good.